What is up, y'all? This is DJ back with another video. So today I'm gonna do like an overview of this past week's trades. Most of the stuff I'm gonna explain is in the live streams, but the live streams are obviously really long. So I'm just gonna break them down real quick, go over each day that I traded, and kind of those trades that I took. Okay. So we'll be quick though. So this is the first one. This was on 5/7. Okay. So the main thing, the why I was bullish is, if you look at the daily, we had just inversed. This is not a note for this specific trade, just so y'all know. We had just inversed this fair value gap right here. So like that's my model, and that's how a lot of times I get biased on the higher time frame. Is I see if there's like 4-hour inverses, 1-hour inverses, and this was a daily one. So I was confident that we're eventually gonna go up to this high. Now obviously I'm not gonna hold no trade all the way up here, but that gave me the confidence to keep buying. And I understood there could have been a retrace, but it's just what I'm looking at, what I saw. So now if I go down, obviously that was already after the move happened. So I took 2 trades this day. So one of them was a 1-minute setup. So this was the first setup I took. Obviously this is a huge inversion. Okay. So whenever this came up, after inverse, I entered. I know it's not a huge risk to reward play, but I was just looking for a one-to-one. I was pretty confident it would probably get up here. Obviously it didn't this time, but you'll see. So how I trade this model is, obviously this looks like I lost this trade, but it actually was a break-even trade for me. Reason why is because don't pay attention to this. This is for the next trade. So when this closed above, which it barely closed above, but it did, and it created this little high. This was now an internal high on the 1-minute. Whenever this had a lower low, not a lower low, higher low, higher high, higher low. So little 3-bar pattern right there. I'm sorry for the screen that keeps bringing that in. So this is now the internal high when I'm trading. When this candle broke that, I put my stop loss to break even. Why? Because I don't want to see it come back down anymore. I wanted to see it continue running. Because usually winning trades, most of the time, they're going to run. Obviously, they have retracements, but you can most of the time tell when you're probably in a winning position. So it did that. Break even. Hit my break even. And obviously, if I would have held, this would have been a loser. So I avoided that. I wasn't sure if I was going to take anything else. But I saw that price was messing around with this area right here. So I took this, I think, on the 32nd, but it was a 1-minute or 32nd. I can't remember which one I took, but so I'm gonna just play this forward. Okay, so here on NQ, if I was to go on NQ, I'm not going to, they had equal lows here too. It was like 4 of them actually in a row. So I would not have taken this buy if these were not taken first. So that's what I was waiting for. So it took that, shot up. I don't think, yeah, that candle did close, but I think I had waited. Yeah, no, both of those candles closed. So I took the entry right here actually. Price come around. Okay, the reason I put my stop loss to break even here, which kind of sucks. So, okay, this is what I was talking about on the live stream. As you see, it took this high on the 32nd, and I was looking between the 30 and the 1-minute. So I told myself, if it breaks this, I'll put my stop loss to break even. But if I was paying attention to NQ, it did not take this high. It actually created an equal high. And if I wasn't paying attention, but if I was, and I saw that NQ had created that equal high, I would not have put my stop loss to break even here. Which just sucks because this was a really good winning trade. But I put my stop loss to break even. Let's pretend it was an equal high. Okay. Obviously, I would still be in this trade. Obviously, but there, I broke even. Comes back up. Goes back down. Still hasn't taken that equal high if it was on NQ. Okay. All right. Trades come back up. Okay. So at this point, I'm pretty sure, I think it was like one of these candles. NQ took the high on one of these candles. Let me make sure. Yeah, because I don't think it ever comes. Yeah. So yeah, at this point, NQ took it in the high. So at this point, I would have actually put my stop loss to break even if I was paying attention to the NQ chart, because the NQ chart is the actual real chart you need to be paying attention to, not the micro contract. This is where I just take trades off of. And generally, I do pay attention to this when it's close to like my take profit and stuff like that, or if I'm looking to get into the trade, I pay attention to it. I don't know why I wasn't looking at it during the trade. That's what I need to be more self-aware about now. But obviously, at this point, my stop loss would have been at break even. Still would be in it. Never taps. So obviously, this trade keeps running. And this was my first, let me go. This high was my first take profit. So that alone was a 2.34. I would have probably took 80% off right there and then left a runner for these highs, which these highs hit too. Boom. So obviously just unfortunate, but it was my fault. But it's something that I learned from that I need to pay attention to. But still played out. Inverse there after it took all this liquidity that was sitting here. It didn't take this one, but I was more confident because all of these were creating equal lows, so it was building up. And then the fact that this was now a high inside a higher time frame fair value gap. So a lot of times price will come back to that because there's liquidity sitting above there, which obviously price did come back up and just kept running. But overall, this was a good trade. It's just, it sucks because I put my stop loss break even. So that's something I learned from little, I guess, quote unquote mistake that I had made is not paying attention to NQ. So something to keep in mind if you're trading with the micro contract. Okay, so on the next day, as you can see here, this is kind of where I was waiting for something, but there was really nothing obvious. And people were just probably getting chopped up here. So that's why I don't take the trade unless this would to inverse. Problem with this one is on NQ. Yeah, NQ and MNQ. This was not a close above, so I did not take this. But it after that next candle closed, but it already took in a lot of internal liquidity, so it's much confident about taking that trade anymore. So still respected it, but came back up. I was possibly waiting something. Like I'm sure some people probably took this. I wouldn't have taken this because it wasn't like delivering from anywhere. Like it didn't go low enough to take any liquidity or anything. So, but I'm sure people took that. So we come up here. So this trade. So there's this little fair value gap here, and there's some LR. So I'm pretty sure I was saying I would like to see it come down here a little bit more because it had created equal highs here. So price came back here, it tapped it. There is this 30-second here, but I swear that was a 1 minute. Yeah, it's gonna create a 1 minute. Yeah, so it created this 1 minute gap. Could have took the 30-second or the 1 minute. I don't remember which one I took, but we'll see. Yeah, so yeah, I took in the 1 minute because the 30-second didn't even close above either. Okay, so on this trade, we're already so close to this internal gap. So sometimes I will take this trade knowing I may get stopped out just because I know this is probably going to hit, especially with this momentum. So there is, how I trade sometimes though, is I will wait for it to come back down. But because of momentum, I was confident that it was probably going to hit this before we get it tap into this. Okay, I take this trade. It actually does come down first and taps it. So if you were in down here, you would have been good. Okay, but I got in right there. Comes up. So at this point, my stop loss would have been to break even. Taps me out. So break even trade. Goes up. Takes profit. Now, this is the thing. And I just recently, I saw Dodgy post something about this. I didn't really ever think about it. Anytime there's a equal high above, this is what he does. Maybe not what I always do, but it's something I'm going to kind of test out in the waters is if there's an equal high above, especially if it's close, don't put your stop loss to break even. You either let the trade win or you let it lose. because most of the time it will hit that equal high. If I went by that strategy, obviously this would have been a winning trade, but that's not what I did. As soon as it took the internal high, I put my stop loss to break even. But I didn't see that thing until after I had already been out of this trade. But it was a question I was kind of asking myself. I was like, man, should I put up my stop loss to break even there, knowing this was probably gonna hit? Because at the end of the day, there's a time to be mechanical, and there's a time for your conviction, and I wouldn't say your feelings, but your conviction and like your intuition of what you think may happen in the market, because that's what you get over time in the market. Like there's just certain things that somebody can't teach you. It's just what you see in the market every day. So knowing that, I was confident this was going to hit, but I was trying to follow my mechanical rules, and it cost me money. Now I didn't lose any money, but I could have won this trade, right? Now, like you're probably saying, well, DJ, you're looking at a hindsight. Yeah, I get it, right? But Dodgy is right on the point that even I believe it. Anytime there's equal highs, a lot of times they do hit, and I should be okay with willing to possibly lose that trade just to see if those equal highs get hit, because more than 5 out of 10 times, more than that is what I'm saying, more than 50% of the time, it's gonna hit that. I would probably say between the 70%, maybe even higher. So depending on where it is in the market and stuff like that. So obviously it hits that, continues. I think my take profit too was some type of high. Yeah, it was just another high. Don't get me wrong, I would have took a lot off right here just because it was the equal high. I would have just left the runner for the rest of it, and then it hits. Boom. So overall though, same thing. Got bias correct. Overall good trade. It's just I wasn't in it, just like the last one. Now let's go to the next day. Oh, this one hurt. I ain't gonna lie to you. Okay, so this is the next day. So what I was really looking for here is before it took this high, I really wanted it to take the liquidity right here, enter this fair value gap, and then give me something to the upside, because I was still overall bullish. Unfortunately, it did not give that to me. Okay, so because it didn't, and it took the liquidity up here, and I know it looks like it took it there, but same thing on NQ, it did not take liquidity right there. On this candle, did not take liquidity. Almost, it left like a relative equal high or something like that. So came up, rejected obviously into this fair value gap, so delivery from there. So the only thing I truly didn't like about this trade is the time. It's 9:19. The open market was at 9:30. I do not like taking trades this close to open. So looking back, I really probably shouldn't have taken this trade. I'll kind of explain why. So what I did, instead of taking entry right at the close of the candle, I told myself, well, if it comes back up to here, I'll take it if it doesn't take liquidity yet. This was risky though, especially because of the time. So price does come up. It's not close above it, so that's why I did not just end what is it called? That's why I didn't close the position, because it didn't close above the inversion. It's actually right here. So did that, comes back down. So at this point, if it takes there, I am move my stop loss to break even, because I really, at this point, I really did not want to be in this trade anymore. I was just following my rules at this point. Comes up, I think right there actually, yeah, I think right here I put my stop loss to break even because it created an internal high. Yeah, one of these trades stopped me out to break even. Obviously it comes back down here. This was at 9:27. So I'm already out of this position. I'm not in this position anymore. Boom. 9:30 candle comes up. Now the crazy part, if you're really trying to hold this trade, it still plays out, which is the crazy thing. So did not close above. I'm totally out of this though. I'm not in this position at this point. Boom. Straight back down. So it took all the people trying to sell out, comes back down and just starts like melting, man. All right, so obviously you see this note. This note is made for this, so I kind of explain. Obviously it took liquidity here. I'm not gonna lie, I messed up, I would say pretty big time here. This would have been a winning trade. I was just scared to take it. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's because I just got out of this position and I didn't even like that. But still, I'm overall bullish. Okay. Price was coming. I think this was a 30. It was a 1 minute and a 30-second. Is what this was. So the one thing I say that I didn't like how it was dancing around at this level. That doesn't always make me not want to take the trade. It's just something I was kind of watching. Okay, so at this point it closes here on the 1 minute. Well, okay, I'm sorry. On the 1 minute, it had already closed. I was actually waiting for this 30-second because it was a little higher and it was inside of like an order block. So, but it ended up closing. It closed here. And I don't know why I told myself this, but I said, if it drops back into this gap, I will take it, which makes zero sense. The reason I say that is because it's not like it left a fair value gap right here to tap in. It didn't leave anything to tap here. It does not have to tap back in. So I told myself, well, DJ, if it taps back here, I'll get in because it saves me 2 points. And guess what this market does? No tap. I ain't gonna lie, guys. I was disappointed in myself for not taking this trade. Because this trade definitely plays out. Just watching it now. Boom. That would have been first take profit here. Would have left a runner. A small runner though, not I would have took almost everything off there, probably 80 or 90%. Hits. I would have took off 80, 90%. The rest of it probably wouldn't have been hit. So, but that was still, what was that? Yeah, from this point, 2.65. Yeah. I can't remember how much I risked here. I was going to risk. I don't know if it was half size because I already took this as a break even. I'm not sure, but yeah. It was really just hesitation. I don't know where my confidence was in the moment. I think because of all these rejections. Gosh, man, it already took so much liquidity. Like, why couldn't it go back up? So shame on me for not taking it. But yeah, that's basically all the trades for the week. So I guess one thing I learned is with the if there's equal highs, may not be so quick to just do the mechanical trading depending on where they're sitting. And then not being hesitant. Like if I'm gonna say I'm gonna commit to something, if I see a candle, just do it. Get into the trade, no matter if it's a win or a loss. So here I was probably scared to take a loss, and that's why I did that. But you know, that's the name of the game. Like we're gonna lose, right? I mean, I haven't taken a loss in like 2 weeks. It's only been break even or a winning trade. So I understand where I was probably mentally, and I didn't want to lose a loss like on stream, but that's the name of it, man. Like everybody's gonna lose. That's how you can win it. That's the only way to win in this market if you're a good loser. So something I'm taking in this next week coming up. So I'll be more mindful of that, and you know, just stick to my plan. My plan is profitable. I just gotta stick with it. So hopefully it wasn't too long, but I hope y'all learned something. If you have any questions, anything, you let me know. But I'll see y'all later. It mean a lot if you like the video. Hit that like button, and if you want to see more videos, hit that subscribe. But I'll see y'all later. Peace out.